Yo, what's going on, guys? As promised, we have Game 3 of the finals for the Commentator Showdown 2. This game was so, oh my god, intense. I mean, it was amazing, man. It's just like seeing like a dolphin and horse go at it. I was like in awe. I was excited the whole time. Obviously, noticeable side effects from witnessing a horse and dolphin go at it. So, I was really kind of flustered because I wasn't paying attention, and this is just kind of like the awareness fail, and I didn't know what was on the line in this game, and I made a risky choice. As you guys tell, I started off with the TAR-21. In my personal opinion, it is the best all-around gun in the game. It's really good at close range, really good at medium range, and really good at long range. So I think it's all around the perfect package. You know what I'm saying? It's just amazing. And you got those guns that are great. Like the medium range or long range, like the ACR, but it's not as solid as the TAR in close range, and the TAR is not as solid as the ACR in long range. But I think for a map like this, I originally played this map. This was the only map that was in the original set that we played that was also in the finals. So we all had that fast-paced goofiness. We all had a warm-up on this map, but we all went out there and played. And I went ahead and made a very bad decision. I wanted to try to be smart and give myself an advantage because in the first set, I was noticing I was losing a lot of downrange gunfights. So, down the hallways and all that stuff. The MP5K doesn't have that kind of range to be pulling it down. So what really happened is I thought I'd be smart and switch it up and go to the TAR, a gun that I hadn't used throughout the night. I was kind of rusty with. And, it was a very bad decision on my part, and I realized I was making a mistake by doing that. I started drifting in the standings down to like 6th and 7th place or whatever, and then I realized, you know what, I gotta switch this up. I gotta do what's right, gotta get my head back in the game, and stop raging and punching my face. So what I decided to do is I decided to whip out the MP5K. As you guys see, I start rushing hardcore, start moving around. I'm going for kills. Deaths don't mean shit in this game. I mean, if it comes down to a tie, which is what happened in that first game when me and Fearcrads took the same amount of kills, I had less deaths, therefore I took 2nd place in that game, he took 3rd. So I guess deaths do kind of factor in, and that's something that really nobody's thinking about. I mean, you want to get the kills. If you do it properly and you put 5 kills in front of yourself, nobody fucking cares if you died 85 times. You just got to do what you got to do. And so that was my mindset. I had to switch it up. I had to keep trying to do what I did, and I was really, kind of like not on alert of what was on the line in this game. I was just so disappointed in myself from the game before. I was still kind of flustered, caught up, and mad at myself from blowing the last game. The last game, I was in first place the whole first half, and it wasn't like a quick turnaround. I slowly declined and lost that game, and I was so disappointed in myself. And I choked big time, and that carried on to this next game where I was disappointed in myself. I thought, well, if I'd have had first place right there, 2nd place in the first, me and the game are tied up, I've got a good chance of winning this thing. So that was my mindset. I felt like I ruined that, and I carried that on to the next game, and I just struggled in this game, getting spawned on like that. Fearcrads was laughing his ass off. I remember that. I had a nightmare about it yesterday. So it was quite an adventure, and one of the really things that I think were apart from all of us is there were quite a few moments where things were different, where the games could have changed. Like I've always told, and throughout all of these commentaries over the showdown, are these great players are interchangeable. I believe I was like, for an example, if Markofj was to place, get one less kill in this, we would have been, I think, tied for 2nd place overall. Or if I would have had one more kill. That's what was really on the line in this game, and I wasn't paying attention to. I didn't know that, this game really made a difference. Had I have, done a lot better, it would have been close. And that's just something we weren't paying any attention to. Not saying that it would have changed the outcome or anything like that at all, but that's something that I need to take into consideration next time, is to know what's actually on the line, because, I mean, that might actually impact and judge how you play. Would you play more conservative? Would you go a little bit more Rambo? What would you do, man? It was something that factors in there. It's one thing I wasn't used to by playing in these tournaments, but I was really proud of Markofj. What I really saw in this was consistency. You had, like the game pulled, this is the full standings when this was all said and done. The game had a first place, and a 2nd place. That's consistent right there. That's balling fucking status right there. And then you had, I think I had a 2nd, a 3rd, and 4th. So I averaged off 3rd, and I finished 3rd. So that's not too bad right there. Taking in that I failed pretty miserably. I did really bad at this. I was just in a funk, and I have nobody but to blame but myself. And then you had Mark, who started off bad. He placed 5th in the first match. So he placed 5th, 1st, and 2nd, I believe, or 5th, 2nd, and 1st. And so he came back. So he had a lot to prove, and he kept his mind straight, came back the very next game, placed second. He did very well. He did very well. You guys saw how that fourth place affected me and really brought me down, and I started fucking up in this game. But he kept his head on shoulder. The one thing that I love about Markofj, thing that I think separates him from many, many other players, including myself, and I think is he's a very, very smart player. Many players, especially like me and Fearcrads and so on and so forth, we're just hardcore rushers. We go in, we run around, we're just careless, if you will. And we just go for kills, try to make our gun skill, superior than everybody else. But we also pick up a couple deaths while doing so. And that's one thing that I see Mark playing, is he's always playing it smart. He's being conservative. He's not rushing when you're, not supposed to. I mean, it's Call of Duty. People play how, not necessarily how you're supposed to play, but what you do for fun or how you just want to do it. And he plays how you should play. And I think that's brilliant of him. That's one thing that I've always noticed in Mark, and that's something I wanted to compliment him on. That's something that I've always really, really enjoyed about him. I remember watching some of his games where he doesn't push past a certain level in the map, which is really, really smart for domination and stuff like that. Me, on the other hand, can't wait to wiggle my little ass and get myself in their spawn and do what I can. I don't like to flip spawns, but I like to get close. But he knows it's smarter to sit there, and even if it means not getting a kill, it's also not getting a death, and that's brilliant. And that could have been what his mindset was in the first game. He could have pulled fifth because he was trying not to die, but in turn he wasn't getting enough kills to get in the top 3, and then he might have turned that around. He might have said, you know what, I'm going to sit up in this chair and I'm going to take shit out. So that's what I think is great. I think consistency was really, really involved there, and then you had him doing that. So he had the one bad game, I had the 4th place, Fearcrads had a 5th, a 3rd, and a 3rd. So it was, I think it was overall, you add the placement, which was how it was judged on winning. So overall, if you take the places together, add them together, so it looked like the game had like 4 points total for a first, and second. Mark had a 1st, 2nd, and 5th, so that's 8. I had 2, 3, 4, so that's 9. And Fearcrads at a 3, 3, 5, that's 11. So, it was really, really tight. And seeing as how, I blew the first game, there were so many possibilities in this. And that just shows how close these games become and how entertaining these are. Even though it's free-for-all, so many of these are really, really entertaining, and that's what we go for in this tournament. It's not necessary to prove who's better, because like I've told you guys, I don't think there's a way to prove who is better. I think there are groups of players that perform better than other groups of players, like an A class, a B class, a D cup, whatever, and that's what I think is really, really impressive about that. And then, you have the guys that really really know what to do and really come out here. They were prepared. I saw Markofj was warming up on this. He came in here with the mentality to win, and that really, really pushes people. Some people have that I don't give a fuck method. Some people just go in there and play, run around, shoot the gun because they have good gun skill and aren't playing to outthink the other player. So a lot of things factored into this, and I think there are different levels, different skill sets. I mean, a 1v1 in this game is pretty much a whole nother game. Some people are really good at 1v1, can't pub. We're great pub stars. We are by far not the best gamers in the world. I can say this right off the bat. Many people think that we're like that, or we're cocky, we're ego. I'm a realistic person. I'd like to say I'm as good as these guys, but that doesn't mean I'm the best Call of Duty player. I can't say anybody is. And there are different, areas where people excel and do things. I could go into we could go into MLG competition right now and do scrims. I did scrims. I've been doing scrims with these MLG teams lately, and playing with these players and seeing what they're capable of. And they just tear shit up. But that's also in their own setting, what they're familiar with. So if these, if we were to actually hop in there as being pub stars, if we were to hop in there and try to hang with the MLG players, we'd probably really, really struggle, if not get our shit pushed in. In all reality, no matter how good or cocky we think we are, we're not the best in that kind of setting. But then again, if you take some of the MLG players and try to put them in a pub stomp level, or try to put them out here with, a free-for-all, that's not something they're familiar with, and that does not mean that they'll excel in it. Finding somebody that's really good at both is really, really difficult, and that's what I'm trying to push myself to be. I think I'm a pretty decent pub stomper. I think I can hang with some of the best of the commentators. What I'm trying to push myself, and I'm becoming determined, what I'm trying to do is get in there and try to get that competitive feel too. It's a whole nother game, and it's really, really revived my hope in Call of Duty. It's making Black Ops fun for me, and I'm having a lot of fun trying this whole other, it's like a whole nother game to me, playing this competitive thing, the CTF, the rules, and everything like that. I mean, I know it's constant FAMAS and Black Ops, but in the same aspect, it's different. Therefore, it's fun. I'm having to learn. I'm having to push myself. And like I said, guys, there's so many ways to prove who's a better player and who's a good player, or not a better player, but who's a good player and who's really, really excelling. And I'm really, really proud of this community. There are many great players. There are guys that are great commentators. There are so many ways to be great. But I don't think anybody needs to focus on who's best or anything like that. I think everybody takes away, and they all have their own aspects. Some people can run their YouTube channels differently and excel and put half-ass effort into it and make successful numbers, make a lot of money, and put in half the effort of some guy that really gets half of the views and puts in a lot of effort. That's how life is. Things tend to balance out as best as they can. But all you can do is try to push yourself, and that's what we did in this game. So, now that it's all said and done, you guys are seeing the finale of what's going on here. It was a very close game. It was all decided by one or two kills. Just watch the top list there, guys. Thanks for watching. Do me a favor, like up the video. It really helps out a lot. Look forward to the next showdown. It should be next month sometime, guys. Peace.